Yo guys, welcome back, and today we're going to be talking about the worst weapons in COD history, at least in my opinion. If you enjoy, please like and subscribe, and yeah, let's get into it. So, the first one we're going to talk about is the Mini Uzi in COD 4. So, in the earlier COD games, guns were usually very rigid and similar. What I mean by this is that everything was based on the same few stats, and the Mini Uzi just has the worst combo, that being high fire rate, high recoil, and low damage. Also low range as well. That's a theme in this video. Next, the Namboo in COD World at War. So, like COD 4, a lot of World at War weapons were very basic and quite similar. However, in my opinion, this is a case of a weapon that is actually alright, however has one very glaring flaw. Let me explain. So, it has the same damage as the rest of the pistols, it has low recoil, it has a quick reload. And you might think, okay, that's not that bad, like, why is it on this list? Well, yeah, it does. However, it has a very major downside, being that its iron sights are actually wrong. No, seriously, look it up. You have to aim a little bit off to the, I think it's the right, but don't quote me on that. It's either the right or left. I think it gets mixed up in my mind. You might say this is harsh, but it's my list, so deal with it, I guess. Next, the F2000 in MW2. Now, as a gun itself, it's not that bad, but in the context of MW2, it's pretty poor. It's your typical high fire rate, high recoil, and low damage assault rifle, which exists in most COD games. But in the context of MW2, where the TTK is generally pretty low, and a lot of the good weapons, the meta weapons are generally low recoil as well, this is just quite frankly not good enough. But in general, this weapon isn't actually all that bad, all said and done. Next, we're going to be talking about a couple weapons from BO1. Yes, it is my favourite COD game, but I have to admit that there is a lot of bad weapons in this game, sorry. So the first one is the Dragunov. This has to be probably the worst sniper I've ever seen. Not only does it have the typical Dragunov issue of low damage and high recoil, but because in BO1 snipers generally weren't really that good, they're heavily nerfed from the previous games, this makes it about 1,000 times worse than normal. Also, its sight looks pretty weird in my opinion. Next, the China Lake. Now, this is a grenade launcher that you will not pretty late at level 48 that round, but it definitely wasn't worth the wait. Oh god damn. Anyway, this thing had the splash damage of an actual puddle and actually doesn't work in close quarters. This weapon was also in MW2, which could have made this list in all fairness, but explosive weapons were very strong in that game, and despite the Thumper, the MW2 version not exactly being the best, it more so benefits from the game itself than anything. And also from BO1, the ASP, which I think is the worst pistol I've ever seen. It does no damage, it has a tiny mag, it's 7 rounds, it has terrible iron sights that you can barely see. Yeah, it's pretty obvious why this thing is not very good. And finally, from MW3, the M16. Now, this gun really declined from the other MW games. In COD 4, it was godly. In MW2, it was still good, but not the best. However, in this game, it's definitely not a very good weapon. In fact, I would argue it's bottom tier. It was very rarely a one burst, and it was just average in every other respect. This is especially bad compared to the ACRs, SCARs, and Type 95s of the world. If you have enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and comment down below what I should do next. And yeah, bye.